what was the most memorable moment for you that changed from a working friendship to a friendship to making it a family?
I don't know if I can beat the question. That's a good
question.
It's a great question.
I have this thing that I do, which I think I've shared with you this before, but I have this thing that I do, which is every year around New Year's, I write down my goals. And I think it's like goals for the year, things you want to do for the year. And the year that I got on Supernatural, I wrote down the goal. The goal that I had that year was I want to be a series regular on a show with a cast that becomes my lifelong friends. And I don't know why I picked that thing to say about being on a show, because it really isn't necessarily part of a career move. But I did. And I was actually just thinking about that earlier today. It's like, that's really strange, because I actually feel like you guys and this whole crew, I'm like, we're such a remarkably tight group of people. We love hanging out with each other. And it's been a gradual evolution to get to that point. Like, we all have grown to know and like and trust each other over time more and more. But I personally feel like we really have something very special in this cast, the extended cast. I mean, all the people that show up at these conventions are people whom I love. I love them. And that it wasn't fast, and it didn't happen at a moment. We hated each other for quite some time.
Yeah, there was a moment when you were like, wow, when I make those lists, I need to be much more specific. It's a series of events, I think, that leads to friendships. You can meet somebody and right away have an instant connection. Or you can meet somebody and be like, that was a cool person. Wouldn't mind hanging out with them again. And then that opportunity presents itself. And then now you've just furthered that relationship. And because relationships need to be nurtured. And when you have a show that has fortunately been on as long as it has, you're able to nurture relationships properly. And I think that when you have the right people nurturing those relationships, you get friendships. And that's what we've found. And not only with, a few people, with a lot of people. I know. I feel you. One of the moments that, because he's up here, one of the moments that jumps out to me that was like one of those moments that kind of furthers a relationship into a friendship was he and I were getting to know each other. We went out for dinner out at where are we, Gastown in Yaletown. And we sat down at this table, and it was this really kind of cool bar, and the waitress came up and she says, do you guys know what you want? And Misha takes my menu out of my hands, takes his menu, hands them to her, and goes, we'll take the 3 least ordered items on the menu. Now that would be fine if it was, a burger joint or a steakhouse or something to that degree. This was like a very kind of new age kind of a restaurant.
They had brains on the menu.
Yeah, you wonder why we know that. So we had that. We had sweetbreads, which is basically fried clams. And I'm like, man,
this friendship's gonna be a lot of work.
And I remember there was a piece of me that was like, I hate him right now. But I think I love him a little bit more too. Like that's just I think it's moments like that we've been able and very fortunately enough to have a lot of, and those really, they solidify friendships, and that's what we're very thankful to have.
So is what you told me earlier public knowledge? Because that's kind of a nice segue. What did I tell him?
I am so glad you just asked that. What a coup.
Of course, Jared would have just said it.
Yeah, he would have.
Yeah.
I am actually having
We like to call
palpitations
him
right now.
unfiltered Jared. Well, hey, look, this is why I asked.
I know.
Okay, moving on.
Considering how Sam in the early seasons was very... and was later...
Hey guys, I'm gonna do an impression. Who am I?
Seriously, you made me laugh. You made me laugh.
Honest mistake.
Why did I do that? And it escalates from there.
The problem is more often than not, when somebody like pranks me or does something, I'm like, yeah, I probably deserve that. Like, at this point, there are very few things somebody could do to me that I don't. My instinct is not like, that's probably comic. It's gonna be comic. It's cold. It's kind of refreshing. I like. I agree with Cass. Or whatever his name is.
Did you just call me Cass?
I did.
Sweet, man.
It's gonna be good. What's your real name?
I feel like we got really close.
Our first AD, Kevin Parks, still calls me Jensen on occasion. He's been with us for like 12 years. He's like, Jensen, Jared, whatever your name is. Kevin, dude, 12 years. 12 years.
Oh, okay, what was my first impression of them?
Yeah, Justin and Jared.
Well, you won't be getting the rhino.
Yeah, way to shoot yourself in the foot there. Well, Jared and Jensen, my first impression of them was completely false. No. I thought, oh, these are really nice guys. Oh, these are really cool, smart human beings. Like, these are people I'd like to be friends with. Obviously, over time, you get to know them.
And you realize that you were right.
Damn! That's what you get for taking too long of a pause. No, at first they were both kind of like, you know, you certainly treated me a lot better on the set in the beginning. It was like we would come in and we would do a scene and act it out. And now it's like we come in and I just try to
get
laugh.
through the dialogue.
It's just brutal. I'm so bad at that, man.
Yeah, you are. You can't. I actually, the other day, was doing a scene. Were you there?
I don't know, was someone laughing hysterically in the background?
No.
Then no, I wasn't.
And it might be best answered after a few drinks.
We'll be back in 15 minutes.
Yeah. And the question is, if you had to sacrifice one of your eyes for all the wisdom and knowledge in the world, would you do it?
Oh, I thought it was going to be which eye would it be?
So which eye would it be? What would you sacrifice? Here's a question, yeah. I'm going to say no, comma, but. One T, or not ours, but.
No, comma, but two.
No, comma, but?
No, he would sacrifice his butt, is what he said. He would take...
Say it ain't so! that was her.
My mic cut out right there.
Didn't. Would you all
Pop out an eyeball
Yeah.
for all the wisdom and knowledge in the world?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Really?
Yeah, because with all of that wisdom and knowledge, I could probably make a new eye.
But That's a bit like the vampire question, though, isn't it? Like, is eternal life a blessing or a curse? I feel like, I'm sorry to keep interrupting. I feel like part the
I totally forgot about cameras and the internet.
Sorry, we don't share pictures.
Next year we're gonna be sending a picture like this.
Put that on a shirt.
I feel like the journey. I feel like the journey to get the wisdom and the knowledge is where the wisdom and the knowledge comes from. You know, like I don't think it's an answer. I think it's the asking of the question. So, my one-night friend over here, I was just asking him. Mish, what's up? How's your eye? Cool. Hey, what is the square root of 1.9? I don't know why the question I would be asking is about square roots.
You could probably use a calculator for that. I would basically be your Siri.
Hey Misha, if the show were on a different network, how would it be different? Well, for one, it would be on a different network.
You can't argue with me, I am right. They would probably be able to afford qualified actors.
Well, we kind of have, there is a bit of a version of I think, or at least a taste of what the show would look like if it were on another network or streaming site that didn't have the standards and practices that the networks do, and that's The Boys. Created by the same guy. And I watched that show and I'm like, oh yeah, this is all the things that he wanted to do with Supernatural but couldn't do because of the standards and practices. I think Dean probably has a lot in common with Carl Urban's character, and I think you would probably just see much more grotesque killings and probably a lot. We always try to turn it up as loud as we can make it under the ceiling of what the networks put on us. And when you go over to those cable networks, then they kind of lift that ceiling. And so you can see what, like, the outrageousness that Kripke's able to get away with on The Boys, and I think that he would love to have had that freedom on Supernatural. And like Misha said, I think the characters' language would be much more colorful. And I think the monsters would be much more gruesome, and I think the kills would be much more intense. But other than that, I think he would still be driving the car, and still be eating too much, and still making poor choices.
Just to follow up on that, Supernatural does toe the line, as Jensen was saying, with standards and practices. There's always like, are they gonna let us show the head explode and the brains stick to the ceiling? And then it's like, I can't believe they let us do that. And you see the writers and the producers and the directors be like, yay, we got brains on the ceiling. That's a triumph. But it is, there's a lot.
Because you can call somebody a dick on the show, but you cannot call them a prick.
What? Which is dumb.
Because Dick is just a name, like Richard.
Right.
But a prick is a penis.
Couldn't you say just a little prick? Like that?
Like you're just a little prick.
Like you're here.
Misha has a little prick. It's like, yeah, I feel like that's what we can't say.
How do you know?
I'm glad we cleared that up.
You should take your jacket off. I'm putting my jacket back. True story. I was cleaning my trailer, which is kind of sad, bittersweet. But I was like, well, you know, we're halfway through the season. I'm going to start cleaning my trailer this past week, and I came across this shirt, and I was like, I have to. Unfortunately, it was a shirt that a fan had given me for Genevieve, so it's a medium. So I put it on this morning, and Jensen goes, "Did you roll your sleeves?"
Well, that's the most impressive, is that it took him all weekend to sew his sleeves into that position.
Just sitting there, like, I'll be right there.
All right. Cliff's like, hey, that shirt's bigger than the one you normally wear. That actually covers your torso. You need help.
Look, I do.
All right.
Jared, what characteristics of Dean do you see in yourself? And Jensen, what characteristics of Sam do you see in yourself?
God, I do love classic cars. Classic rock.
Really? That's it? That's you?
I have my better hair, so it wouldn't be that. I'm a little taller. I don't know. I don't know. I eat everything. I am the eater.
Yeah, that is true.
There are like 2 gummy bears left.
That is true.
And I'm just leaving them there, so I'm like, I didn't eat the whole bag. I can still eat some more, though. I'm gonna make it through a whole, this is my breakfast. A bag of gummy bears.
And lunch.
Very much.
You know, I probably relate to Sam with, I tend to be more analytical than Dean. Dean is kind of a shoot first, ask questions later. Whereas I tend to kind of overthink things, and I'm a little slower making quick decisions. And I think Sam is very kind of deliberate with his the thoughts and thought process, and he kind of, you know, hashes things out. Whereas Dean's like, you know, who cares? Let's just do it. So I don't know. I'm sure there's many things, but that one comes to mind. Yeah.
So you did start on Daytime, and I've been a fan since you were on Days of Our Lives. Given that Daytime is such a small genre now, given the opportunity, would you ever go back to going on Daytime?
I would. Next question. No, yes, I still have the highest regard for Daytime. It's where I got my start. It's where I learned a ton. I think it's an amazing medium. Very, very difficult. Most people don't realize that we shoot about 7-8 pages of script a day. They shoot 60 to 70 pages of script a day. That's a lot of memorization. I mean, I remember on average I was having to memorize anywhere from like 15 to 20 pages of dialogue a day. So it's a really, really.
But it moves, right?
It moves. But to answer your question, yeah, absolutely. I will never be, you know, oh, I'm not going to go back to Daytime. I think I would absolutely go back. I just haven't been available to. So thank you.
Hi, I've been a huge fan for a long time. Both
Who, of me or him?
Both of you, actually.
Okay, cool.
I've actually watched you, Jared, more than Jensen. Sorry,
Good choice.
Jensen.
No,
you didn't have to answer that. You know?
But I'm happy you did.
I actually started watching you on Disney Channel, so it's been a long time.
What?
Sorry, what were you watching?
No, okay, so Jensen, anyways.
What?
My
Hey, at least that was on NBC. You were saying?
My question is, do you think Supernatural typecasted you both?
As demons? No. No, I don't think so. I think it's a wonderful. We often talk about how it's not an enormous success. That sounds bad. It's not like we have 20 million viewers who see us every day of the week or every week of whatever it is as Sam and Dean. It's just, but the people who know us know the show.
We're not like a
so
smash hit like Chuck. You know, we're more like under the radar, solid
Do I need to define what a smash hit is? Because we're actually not even on the air anymore.
You
I stand
smashed.
corrected.
We smashed.
No, but we don't get as many viewers, obviously, as, in all fairness, a Chuck or this or that. But people who know us care about the show. And I think will give us the benefit of the doubt if we do something else and watch it. They might not. It might be like, you're better when you're Sam. Or they'll tell me I was better when I was Dean or something.
We
Get
have
this away from me.